Welcome back to AudiHD Reviews. I'm James, and today I just wanted to go over a couple of neat little things I have in my collection. Obviously, this is a book that DC has just published. You can buy this. This is the Triangle Era Omnibus Volume 1. You can get it at In-Stock Trades for about 45% off. I'll leave a link in the description down below. The cool thing about this book is it collects everything from the, it collects everything from the beginning of the Triangle Era of Superman, leading up to the classic Death of Superman story. Volume 2 will be out this fall. But before this was printed, you had to get creative if you wanted to have this in your collection. So I did. Let me show you my custom bound series. I titled this one Crisis. This book is now kind of obsolete, because all of this material is inside this book. But these are my original copies of those stories. I've combined trade paperbacks as well as single issues. These are originals that are in here. I even bound the Superman versus the Flash race. That issue is kind of hard to come by. I left in letter pages. I left in advertisements. All kinds of things. It was just kind of a neat project. I did this through a place called Haushin Bindery. I don't think they're still in business now, but they did a nice bind for me. These are all originals. Again, as I said, these are original copies of the floppies from back in the day. These are all late 80s, early 90s stories. The first one I did was Crisis. I even got a little stamp there on the side. The next book in the series that I did was Armageddon 2001. Now this is a series that's never been collected by DC. This ran through their annuals in the year of 1991, telling the dystopian future. I put it in proper reading order with the regular Superman title, so that way it all flows nice and neat from one thing to the next. So as you can see here, we end an issue of Superman and we go straight into the event itself. And I collected all of the annuals from all the various books in here, not just the Superman related ones. Kind of a fun story fun story for me anyway. This issue here, this annual of Superman number 3 from 1991, got this at a gas station when I was 9 years old. And it was one of my favorite stories. It tells the story of a future version of Superman who has kind of gone he's become a bit of a despot after the death of Lois and the destruction of Metropolis. And Batman has to fight him, and it ends up becoming a sort of retelling of The Dark Knight Returns. Batman wears his suit from The Dark Knight Returns, and Superman appears, and they fight. And yeah, so it's got some really cool stuff in here. And then as you go on, we have the annuals from all of the major players that year. So you get a cohesive story. And then at the end of it all, we go right back into Superman. So that's how I chose to have everything bound. After Armageddon, we go to Panic in the Sky. And this, of course, collects the very, very important Brainiac event called Panic in the Sky that DC has not reprinted a lot over the years. Kind of surprising. I think we've had 2 trade paperbacks of it, but they never collect anything before and after. So a lot of the story, it's hard to follow if you don't know the characters from this era of DC. With these new omnibus volumes that DC is putting out, that problem should be solved, but that remains to be seen, I suppose. But yeah, so these are my custom bound collections. At the time, these only ran about $22 a piece to get done. Binderies now are charging more towards $50 and $60 to do that. In this volume, I actually included Justice League International. So that was a lot of fun. getting to know those characters as well. These are stories that I never got to read as a kid. I grew up in a small area and comics were hard to come by back then. So I included these in the proper reading order so that way you can get some good context for Superman and his relationship with the Justice League at the time. So leading into the death of Superman, you know why the League is the way that it is and the characters that are involved and why there are some characters missing and other characters that you've perhaps not heard of before who are part of it. Following that, we went into Eclipso. This is another event that ran in the DC annuals, I believe, in 1992. And yeah, this ran through all of DC. Eclipso was running rampant. There's a cool story in here where he takes over Superman's body, and Captain Marvel at the time, he wasn't Shazam, Captain Marvel had to fight him. But again, it's all in proper reading order. All of the annuals are here. These, of course, won't be collected when DC gets around to that part of the Triangle era, but hopefully they will print a omnibus of these events, because these are a lot of fun and they've never been reprinted from Eclipso and Armageddon 2001. This is another issue that I've had since I was a kid. Some of these I bought off of eBay to fill in the gaps. This one, though, this was my personal copy. You can see how faded the colors are. This one got read a lot as a kid as well. Of course, this is the period of time when you had, where did he go? This is the period of time when you had Lex Luthor II with his luxurious Australian hair. But anyway, Eclipso ran for a while. In fact, I think this entire volume is Eclipso, to be honest. Yeah, this entire volume is just Eclipso. But it was an important one, and so it was part of my Superman set. I titled it Eclipso. And then my final volume, before the death of Superman, I titled Last Rites. I thought it was only fitting. This volume collects the final stories leading up to the monumental death issue. You get stories like Mixia's Pitalik. You get stories featuring the Guardian. You get stories featuring Agent Liberty for the first time. A lot of cool stuff in here. Superman fights some vampires. Superman and Robin, actually, fight some vampires. This has one of my favorite comic book covers of all time. I love this comic book cover. That's great. The Triangle era is my favorite period of Superman. I'm so happy that they are finally printing these omnibus volumes. All kinds of things in here. Wave Rider shows up. The first appearance of Doomsday, Man of Steel number 17, is in here. That's a key issue for a lot of people. I bound it. I didn't care. But you get to see that's when Doomsday starts to break out. And then over the next several issues, the final page, he's breaking out more and more. And then this volume ends on the final page with Doomsday breaking free. And the ominous Doomsday is coming. And that leads directly into the Death and Return of Superman omnibus. So between the hardcovers of the John Byrne Man of Steel, my custom binds, and the new omnibus volumes that are coming, we finally have a complete collection. Well, I have a complete collection of Superman from the post-crisis reboot up through the end of the death. And I'm looking forward to binding the future. So anyway, I just wanted to share that today. I just thought that those would be something fun to take a look at. And yeah, so let me know what you think. Have you bound any custom books yourself? Lots of options out there. So anyway, let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think of these. And what do you think of the Triangle era itself? There's lots of eras of Superman, different versions of him. What do you think of the Triangle era? What is your favorite era of Superman? Let me know in the comments down below. Give us a like and a subscribe if you don't mind. That'd be cool. We are a small channel and we are trying to grow. And we will chat at you later.